Jack Ma once said, "Forget about your competitors, just focus on your customers." It's a deceptively simple statement, but it carries a truth that separates ordinary businesses from extraordinary ones. Too many entrepreneurs, startups, and even established companies spend more time watching their competition than truly understanding their customers. They study competitors' pricing, marketing campaigns, features, and strategies, obsessing over how to beat them. But that approach is short-sighted, because customers don't care about how you compare to your competitors. They care about how you serve them, how you solve their problems, and how you make their lives better. Competition is important in the sense that it exists, but it should never dictate your actions. If your focus is on beating others, you risk losing sight of what really matters: the people who keep your business alive. Think about it. The most successful companies in the world, Amazon, Apple, Alibaba, didn't grow by constantly checking what their rivals were doing. They grew by listening to their customers, understanding their pain points, and creating solutions that people didn't even know they needed. Jack Ma built Alibaba in an era when e-commerce in China was almost non-existent. Instead of worrying about competitors, he focused on the needs of small businesses and individual consumers who had no platform to sell online. He asked one question repeatedly: how can we make life easier for our customers? That question guided every decision, every product, and every service. The result? Alibaba grew into a global powerhouse because customers felt seen, heard, and valued. When you obsess over competitors, your strategy becomes reactive. You're copying, imitating, and chasing trends instead of creating value. You're always one step behind, trying to predict what someone else will do next. That's not innovation, that's following. But when you focus on your customers, your strategy becomes proactive. You identify their needs before they even know they have them. You create experiences that surprise and delight. You build loyalty, trust, and long-term relationships that competitors can't steal. Customers become advocates, spreading your brand without any extra marketing effort. And that's the foundation of sustainable success. This principle applies beyond business too. Think about your career, personal projects, or even community work. If you spend all your energy worrying about what others are doing, you will constantly feel inadequate, distracted, or overwhelmed. But if you focus on serving those who rely on you, helping people solve real problems, and improving your craft, growth becomes inevitable. Your competitors become irrelevant because you're building value others cannot match. Let's look at real-life examples. Amazon didn't start by worrying about Walmart or other retailers. Jeff Bezos focused on customers who wanted convenience, selection, and low prices. Apple didn't obsess over Samsung or Nokia. Steve Jobs focused on the user experience, creating products that people loved. Alibaba didn't try to beat existing e-commerce sites, it created a platform for small businesses to thrive. Each of these companies succeeded because they cared more about their customers than their competition. Focusing on customers also requires listening. True focus is not passive, it's active observation. It's talking to your audience, analyzing feedback, solving complaints, and innovating constantly to meet real needs. The moment you stop listening is the moment your competitors might catch up. But if your primary energy is dedicated to solving customer problems, competitors only become background noise. Jack Ma often says that during the early days of Alibaba, he faced criticism, rejection, and doubt. Many people told him to copy successful foreign business models, but he ignored them. Instead, he studied the Chinese market, the small business owners, and the online buyers. He tailored solutions specifically for his customers. And that focus is what turned a small startup into one of the largest companies in the world. This lesson is not only about business, it's about mindset. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you free up energy to improve, innovate, and excel. Competitors can teach you lessons, yes, but they should never dictate your decisions. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you serve your audience, your clients, or your community. That control is power. So how do you implement this philosophy in practical terms? First, identify your customers, know exactly who you are serving and what problem you are solving. Second, engage with them, read reviews, listen to feedback, ask questions, and observe behaviors. Third, iterate and innovate based on their needs, not based on what your competitors are doing. Finally, Always prioritize long-term relationships over short-term wins. Customers who trust you will stay with you through highs and lows, and they will bring others along with them. Remember, competitors are temporary. Markets shift, trends change, and companies rise and fall. But customer trust is enduring. Focus on it, nurture it, and grow with it. Your competitors may mimic your moves, but they cannot replicate the relationships you build with those you serve. This mindset also teaches resilience. When you focus on customers, every challenge becomes a learning opportunity. A complaint isn't a problem, it's insight. A setback isn't a failure, it's feedback. Your success is no longer dependent on beating someone else. It's about becoming the best solution for the people who matter. In today's fast-moving world, the temptation to compare, compete, and copy is stronger than ever. Social media constantly shows what everyone else is doing. But Jack Ma's wisdom reminds us, true growth comes from alignment with the needs of those you serve, not from obsession with what others are doing. So, whether you're running a business, starting a project, building your career, or creating content, keep this at the forefront of your mind. Forget about your competitors, focus on your customers. Let your energy go toward value creation, problem solving, and impact. Build experiences that matter, solve real problems, and show genuine care. When you do this consistently, success will follow naturally. At the end of the day, competitors may copy your ideas, undercut your pricing, or launch similar products, but no one can duplicate the relationship, trust, and loyalty you build with your customers. That is the real competitive advantage, one that cannot be stolen, bought, or faked. So stop worrying about who's ahead, who's smarter, or who has more resources. Stop asking, what is my competitor doing? And start asking, how can I serve my audience better? Because when your focus shifts from rivalry to value, your growth becomes inevitable. You stop chasing others and start building something meaningful. You stop competing and start innovating. And in the process, you become unstoppable. Jack Ma's success didn't come from beating competitors, it came from serving people with passion, patience, and precision. Let that principle guide you. Focus on your customers. Serve them better than anyone else. Solve problems they didn't even know they had. Anticipate needs, exceed expectations, and the world will respond. Remember, competitors are temporary, customers are permanent. Value them, serve them, and your growth will speak louder than any rivalry ever could. Forget about the competition. Focus on the people you're meant to serve, and the future you build will be unstoppable.